Hello, welcome back, kings, queens, and everything in between, to another episode of the Peasant Party Podcast. I am your host, Charlotte Warren. I've got a very special guest to my right. Do you want to say what's up?
What's up, guys? My name's Buddy.
Yeah.
I'm filling in for Annabelle.
I don't, or we're doing just a us episode because it's a very
Sure.
special episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're engaged.
We are.
I'm very, very happy about that.
It looks like we need to get your ring resized because it's falling to the side.
Oh, well, we'll have to go up there.
Yeah.
But yes.
We are.
Yeah. Where do we go? I'm so excited.
This is your podcast. I don't know
Yeah.
what you want to talk about, so this is you.
I'll start it over.
Why are you starting it over? Just talk.
Because I never have episodes about me. I don't know. It's usually like some other agenda, but
Just talk. You don't have to start it over. Just keep going.
yeah, we're engaged. I'm very, very happy about that. I'm very excited. It couldn't have been better. I don't even know where to start just because it's just so exciting as far as like how things went, what you did. Yeah, I guess I'll tell it from my perspective, and then I'll ask you questions because I feel like people are always curious about like engagement stories, like what went through your head, how'd you think of it? Like I think we have a lot of female listeners who kind of wonder, what goes through a man's head when he decides he wants to marry a woman. So I'll share from my point of view, and you can cut in if I get anything wrong or if there's more details I'm missing.
Sure, whatever.
But we're engaged, and I'm very excited. Yeah, so this past weekend was my 32nd birthday. It was on a Sunday. We had originally had plans to go to Jay Carver's for a nice steak dinner, which is usually just what I ask for my birthday, kind of as I got closer to 30, just a nice dinner, some of my favorite flowers, a cake or something like that, just some sort of acknowledgement, but really nothing fancy. That's just kind of how I've liked to do my birthday. And so we knew ahead of time we'd been wanting to go to Jay Carver's.
Wait. Let's stop there, first of all.
Okay.
You've asked for something for your birthday the last 2 years. Prior to that, you didn't just ask for dinner.
What?
The first year we dated, what did you want for your birthday? A trip to Hill Country.
Oh, yeah. We did do that.
Yep, and we did that. What did we do for your birthday last year?
Oh, we went to the Burt Kreischer show.
Yep.
Yeah.
We took like 14 friends to see a comedy show.
Yes. But we also went to Diadue, and then when Wimberley, we went to...
Yeah, so a nice dinner does always accompany
Yes.
your birthday, but it's not
True.
I just want to...
No, you're totally right. But that's usually what I like to have as part of my overall birthday.
Yes.
Each year. So we were going to Jay Carver's, had a reservation booked, and I knew that this dinner was coming, and I knew I was going to be dressed up for it. Woke up that morning on my birthday. Had a slow start to the morning, which was pretty chill. And then got ready. I was told that our reservation was at 5, and then something else I was told was that my favorite flowers are peonies. I said, for my birthday, what flowers do you want? Peonies, which they only bloom a few times a year. They, are pretty, rare. And so when you said to me, it's Sunday, so florists don't deliver on Sunday, we're going to have to go pick up your bouquet of peonies. We got to go swing by their nursery or their house. Found them on Facebook Marketplace, which is a very normal thing for you.
Reddit, but yeah.
Reddit, but you're always doing stuff on Facebook Marketplace, like we've found tamales on Facebook Marketplace and sourdough bread. So I thought that was normal, like going and getting a nice bouquet of flowers to put on the table at dinner is normal. So you said we're going to head out at 4. We head over to what I think is going to be this florist's home or nursery. And it looked like that from the outside. I hadn't heard of the Secret Theater, which was the name of the venue that he proposed at.
If you want to look it up, it's Sekrit.
Yeah.
Secret. So if you want to search it, if you're listening.
Yes. And yeah, we got out of the car thinking I'm going into this house, and I'm thinking like, oh, this house is really pretty, but just because we're going to pick up what I think are flowers, it looked like the home of a florist, or could have been the home of a florist, or like a nursery. And we're holding hands, kind of going around the corner. You were really quiet, and then I did see a photographer.
I wasn't quiet.
You were kind of cool, like you were just.
I was singing "Happy Birthday."
Oh yeah, it was very cute. But yeah, we're going around the corner, and I saw a photographer out of the corner of my eye, and I was thinking, I'm like, no way, this can't be happening today. And I was like, is it happening? And then we walked around, we saw the greenhouse, which was this beautiful glass greenhouse
Tons of greenery.
Yes, tons of greenery. See the rose petals on the ground. I see there is the bouquet of peonies like sitting right there at the end of the greenhouse. And I walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's time. And I was wearing sunglasses. I had my purse. I like threw them to the side. Even in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe he's just giving me peonies. Like, don't get ahead of yourself, Charlotte. And then, yeah, we stood there and the rose petals were on the ground. Our photographer, who was amazing, was kind of, you didn't even notice her there, but she did an incredible job. And then
she and her husband,
husband-wife duo. Love it. And then, yeah, I feel like I blacked out. Like, I know what you said was just so sweet and just how excited you were. And I feel like I said yes before you could even ask the question because I was just that excited. And it was just the most beautiful. You got down on one knee. The ring was just, it is everything I could have ever asked for. It was absolutely gorgeous. I said yes. I was just so excited. And then, yeah, like it was, I feel like I'm at a loss for words just because it was such a lovely day. And then of course, as we, got out of the greenhouse and introduced ourselves to the photographer, my sister and then best friend Ashley and her fiance Corey came out kind of from behind the house. I know they were kind of hiding in the woodwork and they knew what was coming up. They came out and congratulated. We had a bottle of champagne, FaceTimed our parents, who were very excited. And then we actually, it turns out our dinner at Jay Carver's, we actually had a reservation for 7:30. Yep. 7:30. So I think, we did a quick stop to just grab a drink with our friends who were not joining us for dinner, and then headed on over to Jay Carver's for a lovely dinner. And it was so good. So good. Probably best day of my life. Like, it was just such a nice day.
That's great.
Yeah. Did I get everything right from your perspective?
For the most part, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jay Carver's was amazing. It's probably my favorite meal that we've... I don't know about that. It's my favorite steak meal that we've had. I still think Sushi Bar was maybe my favorite meal that we've had. But Jay Carver's is fantastic.
Jay Carver's is fantastic.
We can talk more about the proposal in a second. But while we're talking about Jay Carver, since that was at the end of your story... The thing I liked about Jay Carver's was it's a steakhouse. Mm-hmm. It's great. But the steak was like, I could have not had the steak course and still been very happy.
Oh, yeah. They would.
Like he said that the pork chop, and that's not because the steak wasn't great. We had the 20-ounce bone-in filet. Mm-hmm. Bone-on filet, I guess. But, like the blue crab fried rice. I would never order that normally like at a steakhouse. Amazing. The beets, which I don't even eat, were great. Potato puree was great, and they just gave us that one. Mm-hmm. My wine was fantastic. Both of your drinks were good.
Excellent.
Like a spiced pear margarita or something, and then
so good.
The other one was like cucumber and something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fizzy. It was good.
Yeah.
The smoked hamachi,
incredible.
Phenomenal.
I like my oysters a lot.
Oysters, yeah. What else do we have? The bread. Amazing.
Amazing bread.
Oh, and then the
bread pudding.
God, that was so
Banana
stupid.
Foster bread pudding.
Yeah, with praline pecan gelato on the side.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Chef's kiss.
It was so great. And I think the thing that like we were talking about at dinner is that like service at those places, like service was beyond anything. I mean, perfect service. Like they brought us a walnut liqueur with the Bananas Foster bread pudding, which is a great pairing. Charlotte didn't know what it was, took a giant swig of it and said it tasted like sweet rocket fuel.
It did. I thought it was going to be like I was in my own head and I thought it was going to be like a rosé.
An exciting day.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Oh, they also gave us a bottle of champagne.
They did.
So yeah, that was nice. But yeah, I think you got everything right.
Yeah.
If Eric can put a picture of like her Instagram or TikTok or both, maybe side by side, we can send that over.
Yes.
But the photographer was Wesley Watt Photography.
Yes.
WeslieWatt.
Yes.
She was. I couldn't have done it without her. Legitimately, like, whether it be from stress or just like so. I'll tell it from my perspective, I guess. So I went and got I don't remember when you were in New York.
Yes.
A month ago?
April 22nd or something like that.
Something like that. So about a month ago. I went to go ring shopping, by the way, at NOTYOR Buddy 2 on TikTok. I have like a series of like 4 videos that like I videoed myself starting the whole thing. So I went to Blue Nile maybe to look at rings and thought I liked some, but no, I didn't really. Felt cheap. Service didn't feel great. I didn't really care for the whole process. So I decided to go to Diamonds Direct. Everything was great. I worked with Seth at Diamonds Direct. He was amazing. Really helped me out. Showed me some diamonds in store. I loved them, but I wanted a little bit more. They didn't have the one that I wanted in stock, but I was able to like kind of look at it from specs. I said, I'll trust you if it looks good. When it comes in, have them go ahead and put it all together. He did. He texted me, I don't remember the day, maybe a week and a half later, and said that it was actually in early and looked great. I came and picked it up, put a deposit down the first day without seeing anything. I came back to pick it up, paid the rest of it off, and took it home, put it in a storage bin in the garage, and I just decided that I was going to do it on your birthday. But I decided with like a week to go because it came in earlier than it was supposed to. It was supposed to like come a little bit later. So I decided to go ahead and do it on your birthday, which, by the way, I had a TikTok comment say that was like the worst idea ever.
What?
That I should not do it on your birthday because it feels lazy and then like it overshadows your birthday as a special day with like this other thing, which I think is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, that
First of
commenter
all,
is very stupid. As a person who was engaged to or got proposed to on my birthday, it made it great. Like, what else would you do on a 32nd birthday?
well, also, the proposal is all about the woman.
Yeah.
Argue with the wall if you think that the man cares at all. We don't. Was it awesome? Sure. Was it beautiful? Yes. Was it fun and rewarding to see your face and all that? Sure. But like everything about like the wedding process is based on the woman.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. There's going to be a few people here and there that disagree with me, whatever. I don't care. It's the truth.
Can I ask a quick question about an experience that I've heard men say?
Yeah.
When they see pictures of exes' weddings or exes getting married, like they look at it and go, "Oh, that would have been my wedding." Do you ever look at that? Do you ever think that? No. Okay, I've heard guys say that, like, "Oh, that would have been my wedding," because.
I'm trying to think of how many of my exes are even married.
Well, you don't keep in touch with your exes.
I think one of them is. I mean, I know of one that is. I think only one is. I don't know about the rest.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm sure there are more. Anyway, it's such a stupid thing. And to me, that if you feel that way, I think you should look at yourself and figure out why you need, like, why you don't feel special every other day and why you need this, like, 2 separate days to feel special on both days instead of, like, I think it's silly. I know that you didn't care. I knew that you wouldn't care. Obviously, that's why I did it. Also, I think as a guy, it is impossible to do everything that a girl in her head wants. This is the difference in men and women. Women think this would be amazing, and they draw up this scenario in their head for years of what they want their wedding to be like, what they want their engagement to be like, proposal, whatever. And they like build all this up in their head without ever having to think on the back end of like how to make all this possible. It's impossible. For instance, Charlotte's nails were not done when we did the proposal. Why? Because Charlotte never gets her nails done.
I don't.
Charlotte said she wanted it to be a surprise. I could not have her friend have her get her nails done and it be a surprise.
It's true.
If anyone would have asked her to go get their nails done that day, she would have went and got her toes done while they got their hands and toes done, whatever. And if they suggested that she should get her fingernails done, she would have known what was up right away.
Yeah.
It would have ruined the surprise.
That is true. Also, I like the natural look, so as long as I didn't have like grubby nails.
That's what you wear every day.
Yeah.
Charlotte also wanted, like I said, wanted it to be a surprise. She also wanted a photographer there. It's really hard to hide a photographer in like out in the wild or whatever the case is. She also wanted her sister there. She wanted like friends there, you know, all that, which is really hard to do. So they weren't there. They were waiting on the other side of a wall for me to say like, come on back. So like they were there to celebrate. But also, I think that sometimes guys like get lost in trying to like meet this unrealistic dream scenario in their head, in the girl's head. When in reality, if she loves you, she's going to say yes anyway.
Yeah.
If she doesn't say yes because there wasn't a photographer or because it wasn't a surprise or because her nails weren't done or whatever, you should take the ring back.
Yeah.
Because that is only foreshadowing for unrealistic expectations that you're going to fall short of for the remainder of your relationship. Anyway, not to go down rabbit holes, but these are things I was thinking about. How do I do all this? So one of my ideas was to do it at Pouch 6, was to do...
right here.
Yeah, right here, was to do a podcast and do it live on the podcast but if I was going to do it on our birthday, they're not open on Sunday, so we couldn't do that. Next idea was to do it at sunset. I could do it in public, somewhere like around the water with like skyline in the background, sunset. It would have been pretty. Problem was I decided I think on like a Monday that I was going to do this, so I had 6 days to do it. I messaged like 30 photographers that are local to Austin. I basically said like to most of them, like, if you can't get back to me, if you can't do it, just don't respond because I don't need to sort through all, whatever. I ended up settling on Wesley Watt Photography, Weslie Watt. She's phenomenal. But I was going to do it like by the water at sunset. I was actually going to move our reservation earlier. Sunset was at 8:23 on Sunday. So I needed us to be done and find a reason to like go walk by the river or whatever. And then I was like, okay, if I'm like trying to get her to go walk by the river at night, she's probably going to be wearing heels or wedges after dinner. She's going to probably want to go home or go somewhere and grab a drink. That's going to be kind of tough. What else could we do? So I was like, what about at the Driscoll? So next idea, instead of the water, was at the Driscoll. Also, the thing with doing it by the water is like a lot of people do those big setups that say like "marry me" or whatever. Just to get them to set that up was like $1,100.
Hell no.
Like I paid. I'm not going to tell you numbers. I paid less for the venue, the photographer, and for her help than I would have paid just to have the big letters "marry me" with like sparklers or a thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Without a photographer, that was just set that stuff up. Anyway, that seems stupid to me. Also, these people do this all the time. I don't know if I can like trust them. Plus, in Austin, you never know if there's people running,
Homeless
biking, homeless people. I'm not trying to fend off people swatting flies as we're trying to do this. So then I was like, okay, what about the Driscoll? So you can shoot professional photography at the Driscoll. It's $680. That does not guarantee you privacy. So you still are shooting in a public place. You're not in a roped off area. But I didn't hate that idea. I liked it better than the water. There's a balcony that would have the sunset kind of in the background. I was going to do it on that balcony. And then as I'm like running through all these scenarios, and I was calling to pay the Driscoll when I got an email back from Secret Theater. I found the Secret Theater online. I don't remember if I found it on Reddit or, you know what? I think I asked ChatGPT.
Really?
I think I asked ChatGPT for like, where would be like cool venues to get engaged. I think that's where I got it. Anyway, they emailed me back. They had time at 4:30. Well, I'd already told Wesley, I think, that we were going to do sunset, so she was cool with that. So I asked her if she could move. She could. Before I signed a contract, though, I was down to 2 photographers. One of them was super great about getting back to me and everything, but she couldn't do it. She was going to have someone that she works with do it. And then she was going to edit the photos. I didn't love that because she wouldn't give me like that girl's Instagram or let me contact that girl until after I signed a contract with her. I didn't love that because I couldn't see her work, but I understand why she was doing that because she didn't want me to basically go like, hey, I know you're going to have to pay a cut of this to that girl. Why don't you just do it? Save me some money. You make some extra money. I wouldn't have done that. That's slimy, but I understand that people will to save a nickel. So ultimately, I was like, I really want this Wesley girl to do it. Her stuff is great. And she looked like so sweet, and her stuff looked like what I would want. But I said to her, I was like, before we sign this contract, can you call me? I was at Sprouts. She said, sure. So she calls me, and I basically say, like, I'm doing this by myself. It was really important to me. I said in one of my TikTok videos, I wanted to do it. I didn't want to ask your sister for help. I didn't want to ask your friends for help. I wanted to do it. If it was successful, I wanted you to know that I worked really hard to make it successful. And if it failed, I wanted to bear that responsibility on my own shoulders, not for either of us to be pissed at someone else. Not that either one of them would have messed anything up, but if they would have messed something up, if they would have been running late, if they would have whatever, I didn't want that to fall on someone else. I wanted to have it on my shoulders. I feel, even though it's more stressful sometimes to carry the weight, I would rather carry the weight because I trust myself to carry it. I don't always trust someone else to carry that weight. Anyway, so I call her and I say, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here. I called her, or she called me, and I said, I think everything's great, but I'm going to ask you for some help. Can you decorate a little bit? I said, if you can't, it's okay. I think the venue's pretty enough as it is. That'll be good. But, like, there's some tables there. And I just basically said, like, I don't care what you do. Some flowers would be nice, some petals, some candles, whatever you think. You just invoice me for what you pay for it and for
whatever your hourly rate is.
Yeah, just like
give yourself
your convenience fee. And she said she would love to. Asked if I had any like suggestions, and I said like no, like you do this. This is your. But I'd rather do that because she's going to know what photographs well. She could look at pictures online and go, this is going to go well. And then I sent her the contract from the Secret Theater. Because I don't know if people know this too, but like when you do this stuff, it's not as easy as just like you have to sign like legal contracts with everybody the whole way through just for a proposal. And I sent her over my contract from the Secret Theater because you can't have fake rose petals. They don't allow those. Yeah. If you have a candle, it has to be in a votive. I think that's what it's called, little glass things. No sparklers, no champagne pops like inside the venue at all because it's like old and glass and tile floor. Stuff like that. Anyway, so she's like, just send me that over. And I sent it over. She, I guess, came up with a plan. I didn't really ask her about how she did it, but she did a phenomenal job. They decorated. There was rose petals. They picked up a bouquet of flowers with peonies. I refuse to say peonies. Sounds like a
dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a little rich dog. And so it had those and some roses in it, and there's rose petals everywhere, and literally like the whole theater was lined in like small votive candles. They brought a table in. I mean, it was immaculate. She really killed it. And my favorite thing, I'm going to continue to brag on her while we're using a platform. Everyone should book her for everything because the first thing that made me want to book her was when I emailed her and she emailed me back. But when she emailed me, she texted me and said that she emailed me basically like, hey, and I would imagine that I didn't ask, but I would imagine that she did it kind of because we're on a time crunch. So she'll make sure I saw it. That immediately was like great communication. On a short week like this, I need communication. I can't be waiting 24 hours to hear back from someone because I need to find someone else to do it if that's the case. And then from then on out, she was phenomenal. I mean, she would send me like paragraphs like, Here's what I'm thinking. How about this for a schedule? We'll arrive here. You arrive here. Have the friends arrive here. We'll do this, this, and this, and then we'll have this, this, and this, and then we can go around and do these things. Here are the things that we're buying. Here's how we're going to do this. Like, so communicative. It was such a relief to not have to do those, because I wouldn't have been able to decorate.
Yeah.
We had it from 4:30 to 5:30 on Sunday. I could not have decorated because you were with me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been feasible. So she did all that. She really did a great job of everything. I've not booked a ton of photographers in my life, but I can't imagine that I can't think of anything that she could have done better.
No, she was incredible. I love too that they were a husband-wife duo, and I think that's also very nice as we look ahead at, another big event that's coming up. I think it's so much better than like having like a intern, second shooter kind of, someone doing like a apprenticeship basically, because that can change at any time.
Yeah, so he was videoing
Yes.
as she was taking pictures. And I don't know, but I think it looked like over his camera he had like an iPhone mount. So it looks like he was like videoing on his phone and on the professional lens at the same time maybe. We haven't gotten the finals back. But again, I'm going to continue to brag on her because she's amazing. But we had... And I don't want her to have to promise this to everybody if anybody books her from seeing this, which I hope they do. But we had sneak peek photos that night.
Yes. We
left there at 5:35-ish. And before 10 o'clock maybe?
Yeah.
9:30? No, probably 10:30 because we went to dinner.
Yeah, we were like by the time we were home basically.
We got home, let the dog out, got in bed, and we had sneak peek photos. And not just like a couple text messages, like a professional website with a password where you could go in. We had 23 photos in there, day of.
Yeah.
That is unheard of.
Yeah.
The other photographer that was between her and the other one was going to be like 4 days for sneak peeks. And I think she said like 14 days for the full thing. Which cool, but like we had the full iPhone video, which is like 3.5 minutes long. That covers like the whole proposal, us walking in, all of that stuff that day, and 23 professional photos that were like done, ready to go of various things through the whole hour that day, which is great. She's amazing. Her husband was fantastic. They're very sweet people. Very caring. They seemed excited to be there.
Yeah.
And I just can't brag on them enough because I really could not have done it.
Yeah.
Like without her. Like it was so great. And then so after I booked her and then just went through the week, I ordered a couple different ring boxes off of Amazon so I could make sure I got them in time. I sent both pictures of them over to her and asked what she thought. Which one I should use because I don't care. And you weren't really going to care, but she told me, a case for each one. Ordered those things, and then I actually did move our reservation.
Yeah.
Because originally it was at 7.
Okay.
And then I asked for it to be upgraded from the oyster bar to a table. And they said they could work me in at 7:30, so I took it. I let them know that it would be a proposal. Trying to think, that's pretty much it. I mean, day of, we woke up, slept in. I went to the gym.
Did you do anything under the radar while I was sleeping in or anything like that?
When I left the gym, I went and picked up a bottle of champagne and threw it in the cooler in the trunk.
Yeah. Wait, so when you called, because I worked from home the day before, or the day before was a Saturday. When did you call my dad? Because you called my dad.
Yeah, I called your dad after when I left Whole Foods. I went to go pick up some food from Whole Foods and pick up a smoothie from Smoothie King. I called your dad on the way home.
Nice. That was the day before?
Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
Okay. Wait, when did where was, I was probably just at home doing whatever.
Yeah.
But how did that go? Because I feel like I want to ask the questions about the things that I don't necessarily know about. How did that?
It went well. I actually felt kind of bad because I would have obviously loved to have done it in person and talk to him. But, I mean, they live in California, so it's not feasible for me to, like, hop on a plane to go out there to do it. But I caught him off guard. He was doing like yard work, so
Yeah.
I think he like in his mind had probably like thought of things not related to us specifically, but like over time that he would like want to say or ask or whatever. But I feel like I kind of caught him off guard with it. But it was fine. It was a good conversation. Short.
Yeah.
We might have been on the phone for like 7 minutes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's a pretty quiet dude, so I wouldn't expect him to say too much. He's also, big believer that I'm a grown woman, so he's not going to go and like say anything weird.
No, he was great.
Yeah.
Like I said, I felt bad for the abruptness of it, but I also didn't want to do it before then
Yeah.
because, again, I was really worried that like there would be a snag somewhere,
Yeah.
and a potential snag is your mom.
Who is very excited about everything and can't keep a secret.
But your mom wouldn't have said that it's going to happen, but your mom potentially could have said something along the lines of like,
Did you get your nails done this week?
something.
Yes, she would do that.
So, or just been like too excited about your birth, something. So I didn't want to like, I didn't want her to have any more time knowing. Just because, I mean, if she's excited, then that's a secret that I wouldn't want anyone to have to keep for very long.
Yeah, that's true.
So if your dad was going to keep it from your mom, he asked when I was going to do it. I didn't tell him when. I said soon. Because I didn't want him to go to your mom and say like, I felt like if I would have said, I'm going to do it tomorrow, he would have felt like he had to tell your mom.
Yeah.
If he was ever going to tell her, he would have had to tell her. But by saying soon, it kind of like leaves it up. It could come up in conversation or whatever.
Yeah.
But if they would have known it was the next day, I felt like they would have. So I didn't want to like be dishonest with him, but I didn't want to say when either.
Soon is not a lie.
Yeah. Trying to think what else.
How did you tell my sister and my best friend? So as we said, they were hiding behind the wall and they came out shortly after we walked out of the greenhouse. How did that conversation go?
I had told Annabelle a while back that it was coming up. I'm looking for the text messages. I had told Annabelle, I don't remember where we were. I had said something to Annabelle about like it's coming or whatever the case is. I don't know. I don't remember what I said to Annabelle.
Had to have been something like in person.
But yeah, I told them when and I told them where, made sure they didn't tell you anything or like no hints or anything. And so, yeah, and then I just like sent them the details and everything. They were surprised, I think, that I had like a full venue and plan and photographer. I think a lot of people probably don't think about a photographer.
Yeah, or they just
Guys
call a
don't.
friend or something like that.
But yeah, but like I didn't want to, again, like we have friends that would do great photos, but
Yeah.
then I'm relying on somebody else that we know. Like if Wesley would have messed up our photos,
You could be angry.
yes.
But
if
she did an
one of our
incredible
friends
job.
would have messed up our photos,
It's a favor.
I would have been livid.
Yeah.
So if I was going to be mad at somebody, I'd rather it be someone I don't know.
Yes.
So anyway, I told them when and everything, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty chill. I wasn't super nervous. I figured you would say yes, so I wasn't really nervous about that. I said in my TikTok video again, I said that like I was nervous that everything wouldn't go right.
Because I look at just the day and I was like, you set it up so that nothing, like, I don't know what could have gone wrong. Like, we're going to go pick up some flowers. Every single thing you kind of made up, like, every cover story made sense. Like, you use Reddit and Facebook Marketplace to find cool things all the time. That's normal. Florists don't deliver on Sunday. I was dressed up to go to dinner, so I looked nice. And yeah, like by the time I saw the photographer, like the surprise was already, like we were 50 feet away at most from the greenhouse. Like I don't know what could have gone wrong unless I was like, oh, I don't want to get out of the car or something like that. Just go get the flowers. I'll be right here. But I wanted to just spend the day
Yeah,
with
but
you.
months ago, I started telling you that, like, I liked it when you came places with me. Like, I would say, like, let's go to the grocery store. I'm like, I'll stay here. I'm like, I'd rather you come with me.
Oh, well, that was a long-term play then.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it plays in my benefit
Yes.
because you would rather lay in bed than do just about anything else. So I have to get
Sometimes.
you out of the bed.
Fair. Sometimes. Yes.
But it wasn't like I think because I did it on a short schedule, and maybe I did this to myself subconsciously, but I think because I did it on a short turnaround, and there's a lot of moving pieces that kind of like had to work out to like make it doable, I didn't get to actually be nervous about the thing. You know what I mean? So like I was occupying myself over here, smoke and mirroring myself.
Yeah.
To distract from like the actual stress maybe, but I don't know, because I don't really think that our relationship changes that much. It just, we did was give ourselves a task for the next like year or so. But like, other than that, like a relationship dynamic doesn't change. You wear a ring.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I can't stop looking at it.
It is pretty.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, I did very good.
So when you say you decided relatively recently to do it on that day, what was the original plan, or what were the?
Wasn't really an original plan. I probably would have waited. I don't necessarily think that like planning things I'm going to like talk out of both sides of my mouth real quick. So I definitely did like my due diligence to make sure that everything was like buttoned up. The day was ready so that I didn't have to stress about it, even though it's natural to stress about. But I do that about everything.
Yes, that's true.
Like, I do not like to put stress on other people. I do not like to inconvenience other people. And I don't like to not know what's going to happen. That's going to make me sound like I am like this dialed in, laser focused person. That's not the case. I would just rather stress planning 5 minutes leading up to than stress 5 minutes. Like, I would rather spend a day planning it and it all go perfectly than to not have everything planned out and I'm stressed about that. I'd rather stress beforehand than during. And had I not stressed in the week up to it, I would have been stressed on the day of. But I knew that all my bases were covered. I was prepared. But I think like too far out, there's too many moving pieces. So like if I would have said like I'm going to do it, if I would have been planning this for 6 months, it's like too much time to plan something. You don't need, an event like this, it's an hour of the day.
Yeah.
So like that's too far out to plan, because then it's just going to sit in your head. You're going to rethink your decision. You're going to wonder if you did the right thing. Even if everything was all cleaned and buttoned up, you're going to still feel like you have to do something else. Like, do you remember when you're like in middle school and you finish your test before everybody and you're like,
do I need to fix
screwed something up.
Yeah.
I'm done, and everybody else is still like working. I don't like that. So, but anyway, but no, I didn't have a plan. I would rather wait until like I need to make a plan to make the plan.
Yeah.
But I think that's like the difference in, like, a lot of women like make up this thing in their head, like I said, but I don't think that the guy should always listen to it. I know that's going to sound crazy to the women here, but I don't think that guys should listen to everything that the woman wants in the proposal, because everything that she wants is probably not realistic.
True. It's also, I think, it's hard to also conceptualize what you want or articulate it out loud. Like, there's probably, like, in the little fantasy I've created in my head about a proposal or a wedding, like, there's certain things where it's, like, you can only say so much. Like, I can say, like, oh, like, you know, this is the kind of ring I would like, but there's certain things that you just aren't going to get right.
For instance, with the ring that she wanted, she was wrong about what she wanted.
Yeah, no, that is
Two
true.
times she was wrong. The 2 ways she was wrong was she bragged about having this Pinterest board with rings.
Yeah, there's 2 rings on it.
Would you have been equally as happy if I would have gotten exactly what was on your Pinterest board?
I mean, I think so, but a platinum
No,
was...
she would not have, because she wanted a platinum or white gold band, but every ring on her Pinterest board had a gold band.
That is true.
And I pay attention to detail, so I would have gotten a gold band.
I love my
Even though I knew that she didn't want that, she wanted what she got. Also, the size that she thought she wanted, she doesn't want. Because in the pictures on her Pinterest, the pictures are labeled as a certain carat number. The stones in those pictures are not that carat number. So she thought that she wanted this size stone because that's what the photo is on the thing. It's not really what size that stone is.
And this is why you need salespeople, because sometimes you just don't know what's out there. Like,
Well,
what
I
do
argued
know?
with him about it.
Yeah, like what
Like,
do
we
I
went
know
back and
about
forth.
jewelers and stuff like that? Like, I know what looks pretty, and here's a picture of what I want. And it's probably the same is going to go for like picking a wedding venue, picking a whatever.
Well, we went back and forth, me and the jeweler did, because he was like, well, I think you should just get her what she wants. And I go, I don't think she knows what she wants. And he was like, that's kind of wild. And I go, no, I go, I'm looking at this stone, and I'm looking at the pictures of what she says she likes, and they're not the same. He's like, well, show me. And so I showed him, and he was like, oh, okay. So he took those stones away and got different ones, because I was right. Those are not, it wasn't, you're almost like a full carat off. Which also, guys, if there's men listening to this, carats are not a size. I knew that going in, but like I don't think a lot of people do. So like,
Side note: when people say like women, you could get ripped, like, or anyone, you can get ripped off at the car mechanic. Guys can get ripped. I don't want to say ripped off, but you can get the wool pulled over your eyes when you're buying diamonds for your girlfriend.
yeah, don't buy the first thing you see.
Yeah.
Go at least 2 places. You can always go back to the first place, but at least go 2. So carats are done by weight. So like a stone that's this big could be, say, 1 carat or 2, because it can be deeper and stuff like that. So yes, usually carat number increases as the size, like the square whatever of the stone increases, the surface area, but not always. So like there were some stones that I was looking at that were like almost a ½ carat in difference, that were like, you couldn't tell the difference. They looked the exact same when I'm holding them side by side, and it was because one was deeper. But anyway, everything went really smoothly. The other thing, you were wrong about the band. And what was the other thing that?
Was it the cut? Was it like emerald?
No, you wanted an emerald cut, which you can get the same look as an emerald with a radiant cut as far as shape.
It's the shimmer.
It's the shimmer, and radiant's going to shine more. But you wanted emerald. You probably need to go with a higher clarity if you're getting an emerald versus a radiant. There was something else. What was the other thing that you said you wanted that you didn't want? I said there's 2 things about it.
Was it like the band with the
It wasn't
things
the
around
ring.
it?
It was something else.
The band?
It was the ring.
Was it like the setting so that
It's not the ring. It's something else.
The setting
it's
so it
not
doesn't
the
get caught?
ring.
Oh.
I said, can we rewind the tape? I said there's 2 things. Anyway, I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, I think that you should pay attention to what she wants, but it's like impossible to do everything.
Yeah.
Like we said, like you had mentioned a long time ago that you would like want your nails done, but that would be the easiest tell. So I knew I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't have people there. I had to find a way to like hide people. But also, like I said, like in the moment, it really is a moment between the 2 of you.
Yeah.
So like we went to have a drink afterwards, and Corey was like, oh, I can't wait to like hear what you said in the video. And I was like, you won't hear it. I was intentionally quiet.
Yeah.
He was like, oh. I was like, it's a moment between the 2 of us. It's not for everyone. And I kind of felt that way about the whole engagement. Like, I probably could have found a way to hide them somewhere, but like ultimately they were there to celebrate, and they got to experience the whole like thing. But like it's our time, and it's a symbol. It's a symbol of like we are moving forward, and it doesn't mean that we leave other people behind, but like you become one unit, one family unit, and what's most important is the people in that family unit. So I wanted it to be like just the 2 of us, and then we can incorporate other people afterwards. But
I feel like it was a perfect mix of like intimate between the 2 of us, and I preferred that to something where, you know, people were walking by, like some stranger would be clapping or something like that.
Yeah.
The perfect mix of private and then two of the people I'm closest with, my best friend, and then my sister, and then obviously my best friend's fiance. But
Yep.
I think anyone more than that, it would have been hard to keep the secret. It would
That's
have
why I
been
didn't tell other people.
Yeah, and it was also
the day
just
before we were at brunch for your birthday with 12 friends, and I easily could have invited any of them. They would have
yeah.
definitely been there, been excited to be there. But I did. The more people I invited, as much as I may love them, you risk somebody else, especially when we're going to see them for brunch the day before, and we
Yeah.
went to a birthday party the night before.
Exactly.
So then they have to see you twice. One time, well, both times they were drinking, but one time like drinking a little bit more heavily
Yeah.
to not let something slip. And I put a lot of effort into protecting that secret.
Yep.
And so it was no like slight to anybody that I didn't tell prior, but the more people you tell, loose lips sink ships. I wasn't
Accurate.
willing to risk it.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like it was my sister and best friend is a great logical cutoff. Like anything more, and someone would have felt left out.
yeah, I agree.
So I think it was absolutely perfect. Best day of my life. Like it was really just everything fell into place. And then of course, like you pay attention to every detail. I am your typical type B personality. I think you're more of a type A where you got the details all lined up. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah, I was really pleased with how it came out. Everything. I'm interested to see like the final pictures, and then I'm interested to see what they would do with like the final video. She like edits it into like a little movie type thing. But my hope is that she blows up on social media and her business booms. She was just so great.
She was incredible. I love the pictures of her own wedding that she's put on her own TikTok, and I love the aesthetic. I like the just look of, just there's something about it that reminds me of, there's something nostalgic about it. It kind of looks like the wedding pictures that my parents and their siblings had, where it looks like it's just really pretty. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, and the other thing,
The fuck? I had some headphones just fell down.
headphones just fell. That's okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is that like we don't have to take engagement photos.
That's true
Like
too.
they're done.
Yeah.
They're out of the way. You don't have to book them. So, I don't see any need to book engagement photos.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I mean those are literally
That's what I'm
engagement
saying.
photos.
So, like when I booked the theater, we had it for an hour, and then I had an hour with her as well. And so we walked around that whole property,
Gorgeous.
took photos, and one we took on the stairs,
Yes.
on the truck with the letters,
Yep.
in the actual thing,
Yep.
champagne.
Some
the
with my
moon,
sister,
the
friend.
swing, the flower wall. So we have 7 different locations that we took photos of the two of us,
Yep.
and then took some photos with like her sister and friends and
The
stuff like that,
champagne
too.
pop.
That's what, I named that one.
Yeah, and they're already on. My grandmother has already framed one of them. She adores you. She is thrilled.
great.
I think I'll do my wedding dress shopping in Charleston with
Yeah.
mom and grandma when that happens. I also want to. I think when you can tell people you're recently engaged, like wedding venues and stuff like that, you can kind of get cool things. We like going out to like the hill country, just pop in and see a venue or something. I don't know. I'm excited to just be engaged.
Yeah, I dread the wedding planning process
Why?
because we're going to disagree on a lot. I don't think that we'll fight about it, but I think that we'll disagree.
Yeah. What do you think we'll disagree on most?
I think that you are very sporadic and want everything when it's not going to always make sense.
That's true. That's true.
And so I think that you have like great ideas that don't always make the most sense, maybe. And you need someone to like shave the fat off of some of these things. So I think that will be where we have conversations.
Yeah.
I think that before we even start, we should make a list of like hard yeses and hard nos, like not having this, I'm not having this, I'm not having this.
Well, I know one.
I do want this, I do want this, I do want this. Absolutely. All the other details can be worked out.
Yeah. I know one thing that's probably going to be a big deal. Football schedules. That will probably play a
in the
role.
fall.
Yeah. You have to. When do those come out?
Right after the season. No, I mean, I don't know. You have a pretty big window. The earlier in the fall, the better.
Yeah.
Like, Alabama plays at Auburn this year, and it's always the weekend of after Thanksgiving. So, like, the weekend before Thanksgiving's open, but that's all the way in November. So, I don't know. We can figure all that stuff out. My only really hard no is no orange.
Oh yeah, no,
0. Not burnt orange, not nothing.
no.
Tecovas just had a pair of boots on their last call in my size that I loved, and the shaft is like a burnt orange looking tan, so I didn't buy them.
2 teams you don't like are orange.
All the teams I don't like are orange. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no orange. But, like, food. Like, I think that wedding food is, if it's not included in your venue, I think, like, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I think just I love barbecue, you love barbecue, and there's some great vendors here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to weddings where, like, the food was, like, top notch. And I've been to weddings where the food was just okay, and I can tell you that, like, of all the weddings I've ever been to, I've had one that the food was outstanding.
Yeah.
One.
Was that
It was Dan and Stephanie's wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. You can say their name.
Oh yeah, I always joke that it's the I call the Emirates group or
The
Emirates
Harrods actually, but it was it was Dan's wedding in New Orleans, and it was like best I can remember anyway. It was like I don't remember how many courses, like 20 courses of hors d'oeuvres, and they walked around, and then after they walked that dish around, all New Orleans based, so like there's like a crawfish etouffee, there was a muffalata. There was like all these different things. And then after they walked them around, they like sat them on a table. So if you missed them, you could go and get them. So good. Because all smaller bites, local to the area. And then Dan did not have a groom's cake. Instead of a groom's cake, Dan had a hot dog cart.
Oh, yeah.
And that was way more popular than people thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think things like food and wedding, like, you want your wedding to be memorable and fun. No one is going to...
I'm sorry.
She's burping into the microphone.
I didn't mean to.
And don't grab this part. You're not an amateur. You know that.
Yes. I don't know what I just said. Sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, no one's going to, like, go to a terrible wedding and be like, oh, the wedding was great. They had good food. Oh, the band sucked. And the venue was ugly and everybody had a horrible time, but at least the food was good. Nobody's doing that. More often than not, it's going to be like, oh, the wedding was so much fun. Everybody had such a great time. Everything was so fun. All this. It's like, what was the food? I don't know, like some chicken or a steak or, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that the food's not going to make the wedding. So I don't think it's, like, something you should really stress on. Same thing with, like, the cake. Like,
I don't give a fuck about the cake.
Sam and Michelle, they had, like, a dessert table.
Yeah,
I don't think they had cake.
No, they did
Was there
cupcakes,
cake?
and I think they had, like, a little, like, a cake cut that they did for...
Yeah, they had cake, like little cake bites and cheesecake bites and cookies and stuff. That was phenomenal. I've seen people that do, like, the cupcake towers or, like, the donut towers, stuff like that. Like, I just think that there's ways. I think that people, like, again, like you did with your idea of this proposal, like, come up with this grandiose plan. But then in reality, like, when you think about what you want that day, like, what are the things that are going to be really important to you? Like, what are the things that are really going to, like, make it phenomenal?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. What is important to you? Is there any like, little musts?
Not really. I'd like for... I don't know. I go back and forth on music. Like, I think a DJ is the easiest way. I think DJ's better than bands because DJ can play anything. But I do love a live band.
We gotta have Dixieland Delight.
Yeah, I mean, like, some 90s country thrown in there would be great. No orange. I want some 90s country. Outside of that, I don't really care. I don't know.
You gonna wear Tacovas?
I don't know. I might wear boots.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. There's a company in Nashville. I'll send this clip to them called Bowen Bootwear or Bowen Boot Company, something like that. Bowen. I follow them on Instagram. They make some beautiful boots. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have a custom pair of boots made.
Ooh, Bowen.
If you think about it, like women do, everything about the wedding is about the woman. She's going to go buy a crazy dress and this and that and this and that. Like I could get a $200 suit on sale from Banana Republic that's going to look perfectly fine, have it altered. But yeah, like a custom pair of boots, like a nice dress boot. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's cool.
Well, we gotta swing by it. We can look ahead at that and swing by at like Thanksgiving or something.
What do people even pay per head for food at a wedding?
Oh gosh, it really varies. I think it depends on where you go. I think for food itself, but then sometimes what venues are also like everything per person. Like when you factor in venue rental.
I'd rather not have an all-inclusive venue. I think
because I think it ends up being cheaper as long as you know where to look.
Yeah, maybe.
But
it'd be sick to have the Not a Damn Chance truck.
Or just some sort, like, I've always seen it, I think it's really cute instead of favors, like, people leave and you just hand up, like, a size medium pizza or something, or, like, something like that.
Yeah, I think you don't even eat pizza.
I don't eat pizza, but everyone else does.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for, like, I also, like, I've thrown this idea out, we're running out of time, but I've thrown this idea out of like having a dinner and then a reception, not all the same. I'm not like concrete on that having to be the case, but I do think it makes for a better experience for everybody.
Oh, that's fair.
I think having like a seated dinner where you do like for your father-daughter dance, you do your first dance, you do speeches if you're going to do speeches at it or whatever, then you do a dinner, thank everybody for coming, then excuse everyone. And then your actual just friends go to like the party part of the reception. My reason for that is I've been to weddings where it ends up just being a bunch of old people watching a bunch of younger people, and someone's parents are, oh, you're having too many drinks, or you know, someone's aunt's drunk and causing a ruckus, or like whatever. I just think that like, you know what my hard thing is I think that whatever the reception is, it has to be about us and our friends. I don't care about our parents. I don't care about our family. I think it needs to, everything is so stressful. I think it needs to truly, at some point, there needs to be a time where everything switches over to have a good time.
Yes. No, I agree. And I think the cue to go for most people is the second you've done a cake cutting is like that when it's seen as rude to leave before that.
Yeah.
So whenever that happens, I always think it's like they didn't put their cake cutting early enough.
Yeah. Do it right after the ceremony and then let everybody go while you take your pictures. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I just think that I think so many people's weddings become like farms for photos, which is great. But I would rather have a good time at my wedding and my reception than have good photos of my wedding and reception. Like I saw this thing on TikTok, imagine that. That was once everybody did the photos at the reception, they did the cake cutting, the bridal party and all the groomsmen and everything go like into like a back room, and they come out and everybody's got on like matching like loungewear.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, like matching like sweat shorts and like an oversized T-shirt, and have like everybody's name on the back of it, or you know, your like same thing that'd be on like a koozie or whatever. But then like you can put on flip flops or tennis shoes or like slippers and just have a good time. Like, I don't know. I'm more about the experience overall. I think encouraging people, if they want to bring their own change of clothes, bring your own change of clothes. Go in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Take your suit jacket off. Take your tie off.
Yeah. Well, I think when you know your audience is a big theme in life.
Yeah,
knowing our audience, I think that would be received well. So
I agree. Yeah, I think that it's also like part of wedding planning process, which I'm excited to go through, is it like saying no to people who it's not their wedding.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what my mom says, she's not getting married. So, no. Ultimately, your parents are spectators at your wedding.
Yeah.
So, they're going to be there. And just like I said with the proposal, like, they're going to be excited regardless.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, and they're thrilled. Like,
Yeah.
My
And-
dad's thrilled. Like, he's waited his whole life for this.
but I mean, like, on the day of, they're
Yeah.
just going to be excited.
Yeah.
So, like, little things that, like, it's easy to, like, worry too much about things prior. But anyway, I think
Yeah.
day of, all those things that were planned 4 months ahead will be lost. So.
Yeah, not even gonna matter. I'm
No.
just absolutely thrilled. It was the best day of my life, and I can't thank you enough for just thinking of the most beautiful proposal possible.
Yeah.
You're my fiance. I can't. Oh, it's so hard. It's like such a nice thing to say.
Yeah.
Such a pretty word.
It is.
Yeah.
Check out my TikTok for the video
Yes.
of the proposal
It's coming soon.
as soon as I get it.
Yep. Well, I love you very much.
I love you too.
And I'm very happy to be your fiance.
Me too.
Soon to be wife. Well, we're gonna get you one of those soon.
I actually saw, I wouldn't wear it like on my actual ring finger, but I did see one today that